guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys on some apps, mobile phone apps that I think are quite useful in Saigon. If you're planning to live in Saigon or if you're planning to travel to Saigon, either way, I think these apps will help you along the way. And as I was going through all of these apps, I realized that there are a lot of variations and choices for each category of apps. So there are a few options for each one. I'll go through one or two for each category, but I'll mention all of them, like all the options that I find are quite useful. Some of these apps are international, meaning that you don't necessarily only use it in Vietnam, but you probably will use it in other countries as well. And then of course there are like the more local ones that only in Vietnam that people use. Let's just get straight into it. First off, transportation apps, and I recommend 4 of them. So they are Uber, Grab, Linh Taxi, and Vinasun Taxi. So really, these are private transportations. I haven't found any like really good, legit, trustworthy app for public transportation. But for private transportation, I recommend these 4 apps. They're quite similar to each other. So they serve the same purpose. And in this case, let me go through Grab and Linh Taxi because one is for taxi and then the other one's like for private car. I've mentioned Grab and Uber in many of my previous videos, but I'm just gonna mention them again in this video for the sake of mentioning. But basically, Grab is a Southeast Asian version of Uber. So you can book rides, and here you have cars, Car Plus, like 7-seat cars. There's also Grab Taxi, and then there's also Grab to like the provinces, because you know provinces are a bit further away. And then there's also Bike. So basically there are many different options that caters to different people, different budgets, and you sort of key in your destination as well as your pickup point. They will calculate the price for you, and basically you just have to pay that amount. And of course there are like different promotions going on at different times, so you can go through that as well. There's also Grab Rewards, which you sort of have like a loyalty program going on here. Moving on to Linh Taxi's app, it's quite similar in a sense that you can book a ride and you can choose the different types of services. So you can choose like a 4-seater, a 7-seater, and a bike. And I prefer booking through an app as compared to a phone, because you know sometimes when you're on the phone and you book a taxi, you are asking for, let's say, a 4-seater, but then a 7-seater would come. So it's really like a race for these people, whereas for the app, when you put in like 4-seat, a real 4-seat will come, like because it goes to all the 4-seaters out there instead of going to like the whole pool of taxis. And one thing I like about this app is that you can actually see the estimated cost, meaning that you can see how much it would cost from one destination to the other destination. It's only an estimation, not like Grab with its fixed price point, but at least you have like a base, you know, so you sort of know how much it should cost so that you don't get scammed. However, one thing about these apps is that although the interface is in English, most of these drivers don't know how to speak English. So it'll be good if you can learn a few Vietnamese phrases, or at least like say in the message section saying that tôi là người nước ngoài, or tôi không biết nói tiếng Việt, which literally translates to I'm a foreigner, or I don't know how to speak Vietnamese. But I don't think it'll be a big problem, because once they know that you're a foreigner, they'll just look at your destination or your pickup point and they will just follow the map. So all's good. Speaking of the Vietnamese language, I want to share with you guys a very interesting app that I found online. It's by this same company that produced like the other app that I downloaded for the Korean one. But let me show you guys what it looks like. And yeah, they have like a few common phrases that are sort of divided into different categories. For example, common, greetings, emergency, eating, numbers, transportation. So all of these like common touristy phrases, I'd say. And if you don't know what's a phrase, you can sort of search them up in here. Let's say you're finding a phrase for I don't know. So yeah, you go through the common one and you just click on I don't know, and it will say tôi không biết. There you go. Like, you can learn how to say it, or you can just, you know, show this to whoever you're speaking to.
Anh có hiểu tôi không? Tôi không biết. Rất tiếc. Làm ơn. Rất vui lòng.
Okay, so you have to be careful about this case. For the please, làm ơn rất vui lòng, it's actually 2 phrases, and they're 2 different separate like phrases. They're not supposed to be used together. So if you see like a comma, it means that there are two ways you can say it, and depending on the situation, you have to use a particular one. So for example, làm ơn means like please, like, you know, like please do it for the sake of doing it. Rất vui lòng, it's a more polite way of saying please. Just be careful while you're using this app because there are little nuances that, you know, they don't really mention about. So don't totally depend on it. Next up are navigation apps, and good news guys, don't worry, Google Maps does work in Vietnam. So you don't have to worry about downloading like a local app or any of that. And so for Google Maps, they will show you the direction for walking, direction for the cars, so private transportation, as well as the buses. So I think for public transportation, you can try Google Maps to search up all the, like, you know, the public transport and stuff like that. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward. If you know how to use Google Maps, then you can use it here in Vietnam. Moving on to music, there's no Spotify in Vietnam yet, but if you want to stream online music, you can try Zing MP3 or Nhạc của tôi. Yeah, I know, it sounds very funny. Nhạc của tôi literally translates to my music. And of course you can go for Apple Music, but Zing MP3 and Nhạc của tôi are free. You can use them for free. So in this case, I have Zing MP3. It's pretty much like Spotify actually. You have like your login details, meaning that you have your account in which you can save your favorite playlists, favorite songs, depending on the copyright. But then in my case, I don't, you know, log in. You can still listen to online music without having to log in. So that's what I do. And here, as you can see here, there are like charts, Vietnamese pop charts, V-pop, and then there are like different playlists, different categories. There are also like videos, music videos, and then there are different genres of music, albums. Sort of search whatever you like, and then if they have them, they will appear in the search. So yes, this is the app that I always use to listen to the latest music. A lot of different songs, a lot of different languages as well. So it's not only for Vietnamese pop, but you can definitely listen to like the latest US, UK, K-pop, J-pop. But of course not every country. It's more of the mainstream music. Okay, moving on to the next category, which is communication. I think this will be useful for those of you who are planning to live in Vietnam or those of you who are already living in Vietnam. And the three most common apps that are used are Viber, Zalo, and Messenger, so Facebook Messenger. Personally for me, I don't use Zalo, I use WhatsApp because many of my friends from Singapore, they use WhatsApp. So I don't see any purpose for me to use Zalo. But I know a lot of locals here who use Zalo, and Zalo is like a Vietnamese or a local version of a messaging app that you have in other countries. So for example, Korea, they have KakaoTalk. In Japan, they have Line. I think Zalo is a play on words. So alo means hello in Vietnamese, and then I'm not so sure what does the Z stand for. If you know, let me know in the comment section below. But here you go. Basically, I just downloaded this app to show you guys. So I'm just going through all these like introduction stuff. There's also English. Okay, so let me sign up for you guys and see how it goes. It's just like any other messaging app. You have your contact list, you can find your friends, you have the messaging part, meaning that you can message people. And then apparently there are things like stories, like Snapchat. So they combine social networking into this app as well. You also buy stuff here on this app. And games. This really reminds me of WeChat, which is like China's messaging app. Shopping, messaging, all these kind of things that are put into one app. So this is it. I'm sorry, I'm like so new to this as well because I don't use Zalo, but apparently you can also like read the latest articles and watch the latest videos. Interesting. Okay, but it's all in Vietnamese, guys. If you don't know Vietnamese, it's not going to really help you because all of these like social networking things are in Vietnamese. However, the user interface is still in English, but still everything else is in Vietnamese. That's Zalo for you. Personally for me, I use Facebook Messenger to talk to my friends in Vietnam as well as those who are from overseas. I still connect with them via Facebook, and Viber if I need to call anybody, and WhatsApp for other cases, I guess. Okay, last but not least, food delivery apps. There are a few options for the food apps. There are Foody, Lozi, and VIetnammm with like I think 3 M's at the end. To discover like new food places, new restaurants, new cafes, I go to Foody. And I've downloaded the Foody app here to show you guys. Besides discovery, I think they also use this service called Delivery Now to deliver food, and then there's like a reservation and self-order. So let me go to the discovery first, because this is like the most important part. You can see here all of the reviews and of the places, so like the ratings and reviews from people who, you know, come here. So basically they'll sign in and then they'll write their reviews, and I think there's like a reward for every review that you write, if I'm not wrong. I never really like write anything here, but still yeah. So basically the thing is that most of these reviews are in Vietnamese. So if you know Vietnamese, it will be an advantage, but it's okay if you don't understand Vietnamese. I mean, you can just look at the circle, like the green circle, to see what's the rating out of 10. You can also search for the restaurants by location. So let's say if you're in Saigon, or if you're in Hanoi or Da Nang or any other province, they cover everything here. You can sort of segment them. And then for the delivery, I've actually never used this, but most of the people I know use Delivery Now to order like their milk tea. And right now on my homepage, everything is like milk tea. I don't know why. I guess it's popular, but wow, like literally everything here, everything like milk tea, milk tea, milk tea. There's literally nothing else, like just milk tea. I think a lot of people order milk tea as well. That's why they recommend me this. The menu, you can choose what you want, and then after that there's like the checkout page, and when you check out, you enter your discount code if you have, and then they will ask you whether you want to pay by cash or by any other means of payment. They have your shipping fee. This is a very useful app as well if you want to order stuff online. I need to like really go through this app as well. I think it's gonna be very useful for me. They have reservations, so let's say if I want to reserve a spot at my favorite restaurant, I'll go through here and just, you know, reserve. Hopefully the restaurants will cooperate, because sometimes, you know, when you do reservations here in Vietnam, you say that you've reserved, but then when you go there, you're like, oh sorry, we didn't note it down, or sorry, no one told us, and a lot of these problems. So let me try it out and let you guys know if it works. But yeah, that's the end of today's video. I hope that you've enjoyed it and you find it useful, because personally for me, I find that these apps are the ones that I would use quite often when I'm living in Vietnam. For you, I don't know yet, like perhaps you might find that, oh, I don't need to use all these apps, but I think that they are quite useful if you're traveling here. Let me know in the comment section below what other apps you're using. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more content, and I'll see you next week. Bye guys.